Hello everyone and welcome back to Willow's Southwest Studio. I'm Will and I've got something really exciting to share with you today. We're going to take this here thunder egg and transform it into a beautifully polished gem. Thunder eggs are such unique and fascinating stones, and with the right techniques, we can bring out their hidden beauty. So let's dive in and get started on polishing. But first, let's cover safety. I've got here my safety glasses. These are a must. I also highly recommend a pair of gloves. This will protect your hands from all that abrasion that goes on. And finally, make sure you're working in a properly ventilated area. You don't want to be breathing in any of that rock dust. And if you need to, I highly recommend using some kind of a respirator. I won't be using it in this video, otherwise I'll be sounding like Darth Vader, and you probably won't be able to hear a word I'm saying, unfortunately.
We'll have to make this a flat surface here.
But I definitely recommend one of these, especially if you're working with rocks all the time. Where I'm at right now, it's super ventilated, so I don't really have to worry, but it's always good to have that peace of mind by wearing a respirator. So I highly recommend it, guys. All right, let's get started. If you guys have been watching my videos for a while, you know the first thing I like to do when working on any kind of flat surface is take a magic Sharpie marker right here and just draw a whole bunch of lines on your rock. Probably like, oh man, Will, what in the world are you doing? This is crazy. You finally lost it. But, so there's some reason to this madness. So what happens is when we're abrading this rock, we're going to start to lose all this material here. As we keep abrading down, this black material is going to eventually be totally gone. Once it's completely gone, we're going to know we're spot on. We're going to have a nice, beautiful, flat surface. I've got plenty of water in my reservoir here. My catch reservoir is completely empty here, so we're perfect on that as well. So I've got here 80 grit diamond disc installed. That's going to be our primary backbone tool that we're going to be using for a very long time. This particular thunder egg is very hard, so we're going to spend probably a good 20 minutes on here. Well, of course, I'll speed through the process, guys, but it's going to take a little bit of time. I highly recommend taking your time on this step. The more you work out all the scratches, pits, and all those imperfections on this step, the easier the rest of the steps will be. It'll probably last you a minute a piece for each other step. So definitely take your time on this step. It will be loud and it's going to be long. And we're ready to fire this crazy thing up. You definitely want a good adequate flow of water. So just keep this rock moving around quite a bit. As you can see, I've got an 8-inch diamond disc on here, and so this is a big guy. We don't have much room to keep it moving around, but we'll do our best that we can for it. And again, this is going to be a loud step. And it's going to take a little while to make sure we get this all perfectly flat. I want to make sure all those little black lines that I drew on there are completely gone. This is a fun part though. And you can see, just in a short amount of time, we've hardly taken anything off. So if you live in an apartment complex like me, oh boy, your neighbors are just going to love you, just like they love me. So let's continue on with this. As you can see, we're making some good progress. I've been at this for about 5 minutes now, maybe 6, and all I've got is the core. So when I used the tile saw, it actually made a really clean cut. Usually there's a little bit of bumps and speed bumps all around that you've got to really work out. This is actually going really well so far. So we'll continue until we get rid of this centerpiece that's got the black line still on it. We're almost there. Oh, there we go. It looks like all the black lines are finally gone. Oh, that is nice and smooth. Wow. Beautiful. So while this is looking really beautiful and nice and flat, let's bevel out some of these edges so we don't have any complications down the road. So this is a great tip to remember. What we're basically going to do is we're going to knock off these really sharp edges that we just completely flattened, and that's going to prevent it from chipping and breaking down the road. And we're just going to gently kind of just let it glide across here. You'll hear it kind of make a little light sound, just like that. And we'll rotate it around as we go. And just like that, we should have these nice beveled edges now. And again, that's just to prevent it from cracking and chipping down the road. Let's move on to the next step. I'm going to swap the 80 grit out for a 180 grit diamond disc. And this is the 180 grit diamond disc. Before we move on though, I normally don't do this for this step, but since this is a really big piece, I'm going to draw some lines again, just to make sure I am completely flat. This step usually goes a little bit fast, so it's another reason I want to make sure I still have that continuity with the completely flushed and perfectly flat surface. So I'll turn this on again. Make sure I've got a little bit of water coming out. If it doesn't want to be stubborn. Aha, there we go. Perfect. Maybe that's a little bit too much. That's kind of crazy. All right, we're good now. And again, just keep that rock moving around for this step, especially because we don't want to reintroduce any new pits or grooves where we get those record player lines on our rock. That would be bad. And the nice thing about this step, as you can tell, it's a lot more quieter than that first step with the 80 grit. And you can see it's going to be pretty slow. So just take your time and enjoy the hobby. This is always a lot of fun. Nice and relaxing. It's just you and that rock, and you get to make it as beautiful as you want it to be. Oh, that is just beautiful. We are nice and flat. We've removed all the black lines that have been on here. That took about 10 minutes of my time to do for this step. Usually this step is super quick, goes about a minute, but I've long suspected that my 80 grit diamond disc is a little bit warped. So that's another reason I drew those lines on this step, just to ensure that I got a nice, beautiful flat surface. And now I'm pretty confident that I do have that nice flat surface. So we're ready to move on to the next step. With that out of the way, let's load on the old brown disc. So I've got the brown disc installed. Get some water going to this thing. Get it turned on. I'm gonna let the water soak into this pad for a little while, and then we'll get started. This step should be pretty quick because we spent so much time on the prior steps. It's a nice flat surface. We're gonna glide this across gently. I'm on a speed setting of about 2, and I've got a nice, very nice wet pad. Maybe a little bit more water could be coming out. Uh-oh. Don't need that much. There we go, that's much better. All right, let's do this. Just take your time on this step and keep it moving around. We want it to be a nice, beautiful, happy rock without any imperfections. Even if there are, though, it just makes the rock a little bit unique. Adding a little bit of character to them. Just gently let it glide across the brown surface. Wiggle it around a bit. Back and forth. And all around. Oh wow, look at that. You can see the shine already starting to pop through. We've got all these little pits and cavities. There's nothing we can do about that. That's just part of some loose material that was not agatized. And it's always going to be a lot softer than the rest of it. You can definitely tell it's softer around this yellowish color. That is not going to polish up either, but the core, that is going to polish just beautifully. You can just really tell how it's just starting to pop. Wow, I'm excited about this one. And you can see how we got that nice sheen starting to form on it already. I don't see any visible scratches. So I think we're ready to move on to the blue disc. Oh, this is just beautiful. Wow. Just pop this guy out of here like so. Set that in a safe place. And then we got our crazy blue pad right here. It's really gonna bring that shine out. Our water going. Oh, that is not much at all. And again, I'm gonna let this soak in for just a little bit. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. And again, same as the last step, just keep this moving around. And this should be pretty quick as well. That is looking really nice. And that was sure quick on the blue disc, wasn't it? Oh my goodness, just look at that pop already. That is so awesome. Oh, I'm just loving this piece. I got a little bit of water that hasn't dried there, so that's what that's about. Wow. All right, all we've got to do now is load on the aluminum oxide polishing disc, and we are in the home stretch, guys. For this step, I highly recommend some distilled water. I'm going to be using some distilled water I've got here in this squirt bottle. I highly recommend it because hard water contains a lot of calcium and other impurities, and you definitely don't want to be reintroducing that into your beautifully polished stone that you've worked so hard on at this step. So I definitely recommend the distilled water. And to do this, we'll just take our squirt bottle that I've got with the distilled water and just spray a little bit on here. Doesn't have to be too crazy. I don't want it to be soaking wet. And then I'm going to take my stone here that I've been polishing and just kind of rub that into the pad. Now this felt pad I've already laced on it is aluminum oxide powder that I've rubbed in here. I've been using it for quite a while. A little bit goes a long ways, so I didn't need to re-add any onto this pad, but I did need to add some water to it. That is definitely a must. As this thing gets going, it'll start to grip to the pad because the water's going to dry out. And usually by the time the pad dries out and it starts to really grip, your specimen should be completely polished at that point. Just going to add just a little bit more. Again, you don't want it to be too crazy, but don't want it to be too dry. I think that's going to do it. Let's start this up. Very low setting, speed 2 at the most. I wouldn't go any higher than that. And you're just going to let this barely glide on there. Just let it float on by. Just like a big, beautiful, happy cloud floating on by in the sky. And keep it moving around a little bit. I can start to feel it drying out here because I can really feel it starting to grip. So I'm going to take my squirt bottle because I don't feel like this was enough time. I'm just going to add just a little bit more. There we go. Now it's moving again. By the time this dries out, it should be very well done. This is always the exciting part. I can feel it begin to grip right here. It's getting really sticky. So we're almost done. And that should do it. Let's take a look, guys. Wow. Just look at that shine. Is that beautiful or what? Wow. That is just incredible. How beautiful. And there you have it, my friends. Our Thunder Egg has gone from an incredibly rough and unfinished surface to this beautiful, shiny, wonderful polish. Oh man, I am super excited about this piece. This is definitely going straight on my shelf. Polishing can be a meticulous process, but with patience and the right techniques, the results are definitely worth it. So thanks so much for joining me on this journey today as we polish this beautiful Thunder Egg. If you learned something from this or found it interesting, please be sure to consider hitting that subscribe button and helping this channel grow. And don't forget to give it a like. And if you have any questions or suggestions, drop them in a comment below. I'd love to hear from you guys. All right, my friends, once again, thank you so much. Happy polishing, and until next time, my friends.